The only way to learn how to write HTML is to write the code over and over again. Therefore, you probably want to create a folder system on your computer where you can store the files that you are using not only to learn, but to do the assignments. I have a sample here that you might find helpful. First of all, we see the name of the course, and I have it organized into the chapters that we'll be using. If you click on the chapter, you will see I have 3 other folders. I have a folder for the assignments, a folder for the exercises, and a folder for practice. Since you will be turning in both assignments and exercises, it might be a good idea to have a good organizational system. Websites consist of thousands of files and hundreds of folders, so you need to learn file organization and folder management early in your career. In order to create an HTML file, you need an editor. I am using the Adobe Brackets editor on my computer. It may look different on your computer depending on what operating system you use and what version of Brackets you might have downloaded. I recommend using an HTML editor because it makes writing the code easier and it makes saving your file easier. Notice I have some files open because I was working with them in the past. The first thing you want to do is to open a blank file. As with any computer application, I go to the File menu and I choose New. This puts an untitled document on the screen. The first thing you want to do is save this as an HTML file. So I will go to the File menu and I will choose Save As, and I will navigate to the folder where I'm going to put this in so I know where my file is should I wish to go back and work on it in the future. I open up Documents. There is my folder. I expand my folder. There is Chapter 2. I click on Chapter 2, and I will open up the Exercises folder because I'm going to show you how to do the first exercise. Now notice I have a finished version in here. So what you will be doing, you will be typing in the file name. And the file name will be chapter_2_exercise.html. You need the HTML extension. You do not place spaces or special characters in a file name. Should you wish to space out words, please use the underscore character. When I click the Save button, you will see that this is now saved. This is my working file. Should I wish to close it, I can do so with this X. The first thing you need to do, you need to code in your basic HTML tags. I would like to point out one thing. The minute I start typing, my editor tries to help me with what I'm writing. This is why you want to use an HTML editor and not Notepad. This is what's called the doc type. It is the document type definition for an HTML5 document. I don't have to put the 5 there because it knows it's 5. Now I need to start with my opening and closing HTML element. Notice it knows what I'm typing. When I finish typing the opening tag of the HTML element, it automatically inserts the closing tag. Very convenient. I will hit the Enter key to move it down. Now I need to type in my head section. So I will start to type. Again, it's very smart. It's going to try to help me. I close the first tag of my head element. It puts the closing tag on. I hit the enter key and I move that down. Now I will type in the body tag. You want to try to make your document nice and formatted. You don't necessarily need to indent. However, the editor will do that for you to make it easy to read. When I click on the opening tag, notice the editor shows me where the closing tag is. The HTML document has two sections, the head section and the body section. This is the structure. It does not have two bodies or three bodies. It has one head and one body. All of your HTML code that will be displayed as your web page goes inside the body tag. In the head section, we need the meta character set tag. So I can stop typing it in. This tells the browser the character encoding. This should be the first line of code in the head section. Next, we need a title element. The title is very important. It shows up at the top of the browser window. It does not show up inside the website itself. So this is what you're going to start out with. Every time you create an HTML document or file, this is what you're going to start out with. Now I will save it. It's a good idea to periodically save. Now we're going to start with the assignment. The assignment is at the end of the chapter. It's in the hands-on exercises. And we're going to start out with number 1. It says, write the HTML to display your name with the largest heading element. So this week we learned about the 6 different heading level elements. The first one is at heading level 1. That's the largest, and it says to put your name in it. All right, now here's what you're going to do. Every time you write a little bit of code, you're going to save it and test it, because that's how you find your mistake right away. You don't want to type for a half an hour and then figure out why nothing is working. So I save it. Now, because I'm using Adobe Brackets, I can go over to my right-hand bar here, and I can choose the lightning bolt, which will give me a live preview. And here you see that I can see my name. At the top of the browser, this is the title element, Exercise Chapter 2. This is where the title element comes in. It does not come in here. It does not belong inside the body. It belongs in the head section. Again, the title element belongs in the head section. It does not belong in the body. These elements have a specific purpose, and even though the meaning may sound similar to something we use in our common everyday speech, do not interpret it that way, please. You also can test your file by clicking on it directly in your folder. So if I go to Exercises and I click on my Chapter 2 exercise.html file, there it is. I can see it. So you can launch this file to test it 2 different ways. The next part of the assignment is to use an unordered list to write the names of the days of the week. In HTML, we have an ordered list and an unordered list. The unordered list starts out with the UL element. So as I code it, it puts the opening and closing tag. The UL element contains the LI elements for the list items. So I'm going to use my Enter key and get some space here. So every bullet point in my unordered list will use the LI element. So I will type in Monday. Now I'll type in Tuesday. All right, we'll stop at Wednesday. We'll save it. And let's take a look at it. Okay, we can see we have our unordered list, which is a default bulleted list. The next part of the assignment is to create an ordered list. So an ordered list uses the OL element. It also uses the LI elements. We want the ordered list to be formatted with uppercase characters. An ordered list is a sequence, 1, 2, 3, etc. So we want the sequence capital A, capital B, uppercase A, uppercase B, etc. Therefore, we will use the type attribute and set it to an uppercase A. And inside, we're going to have 3 items. The first one is wake up. The second one is eat breakfast. I won't do the third one. So we use the LI. This is wake up, eat breakfast. Now I'm going to save it and take a look at it, because if I made a mistake, I'll see that mistake right away. So I save. I click my lightning bolt to launch it. There you see I have my ordered list, and the sequence is uppercase letters as opposed to numbers. So we have a heading level 1, an unordered list, and an ordered list. So this is what we have so far. All of our HTML is inside the body because that is where the code should be placed that will make up the web page. You want to try to remember to validate your code. Even though it looks correct in the browser, there may be some errors. How you do that is to use the W3C validator. I don't remember what the URL is, so I just go to Google and I type in W3C validator. And here it is. It will be the first choice that you get. And what you can do is click on the Validate by File Upload tab and choose your file. You can upload your file, which means you need to know where it is. So I navigate to my documents. There's my CAWT folder. I open it up. There's chapter 2. I open that up. There's exercises, and I find my file. And I click check. All right, it's giving me a warning saying I should consider adding a lang attribute to the HTML startup tag. This is for purposes of accessibility. Let's do that. So we'll save it, and you can go back and test it again with the validator. This is an overview of what you'll be doing for not only this exercise, but for creating all of the HTML files that you'll be using not only in this class, but in the website that you will ultimately develop.